Hi there folks, welcome to RRTV's live coverage of the world's fastest gamer, round one. We're coming to you live from Suzuka, and your commentary team tonight is Bernie Wiemers and Alex McKellar. I've got the wrong overlay there. So welcome Alex, how are you going mate? So Alex will join us very shortly. He's just got his microphone muted for some reason. So as you can see folks, they're out here qualifying, and what are they qualifying for? Well, it's the competition McLaren has put together to find the world's fastest gamer. And what that means is they're looking at all platforms. They're looking at consoles, so they're looking at drivers from Xbox who drive Forza, Gran Turismo on the PlayStation, PC. They're looking at R-Factor 2 as well as iRacing, and they're also holding special events at various venues to try to track down those world's fastest drivers. There will be 10 that will be selected. 6 have already been pre-selected, and those people are Harry Jacks from England, David Lagarde from France, Bono Hui from Netherlands, Aurelien Mallet from France, Gregor Hutu, we all know him, from Finland, and Rudy van Buren from the Netherlands. And if you want to have a look at the description below this video, I've attached all their driver profile videos there. But what we're interested in folks is over the next 4 weeks we will be covering the Australian split of the world's fastest gamer qualifications. The winner out of this season of 4 rounds, they will be invited to go to the finalists. Then of course it becomes more like GT Academy at that point, where they're going to be dragged through interviews, different tests, different media presentation tests and all that, to find out who will get the seat with McLaren to be the Formula 1 simulation driver. So Alex, it's all very exciting, isn't it mate?
Absolutely. Sorry about that, Bertie. Got myself caught up before. Yeah, mate, it's great to be here tonight for what a really unique and special event. Who would have thought that our pastime, if you like, our e-sport, would rise to such sort of lofty heights as having the opportunity to make a career out of it, you know, a legit motorsporting career out of something like a hobby for most of us. So really looking forward to what's going to happen out on track there tonight, and looking forward to bringing it to the viewers at home.
Yeah, it's going to be very exciting, and we're looking at the top 10 qualifiers at the moment folks. I'm just trying to let's try and get some action on the screen for you. Matteo Calistini, he's sitting on provisional pole with a 1:33.015. Tengay Pedrozzoli in second. Then we've got Alexandre Valette in third. Stefan Schmidt in fourth. Neil Andrews, he's sitting in fifth at the moment. And then Kazar Manzato sixth. Joan Tavolin seventh. Eighth, Donald Sabanal. Then Amir ninth, and James McKay round out our top 10 so far. We have 11 in session at the moment.
Yeah, well, so we're expecting a field of 16 if everyone joins, Bernie, based on the driver list. We've even got a professional licence holder. I was expecting perhaps see more, but there are 3 distinct times for people to race in this event each day during the week, this being the most prominent of the Australia-New Zealand time slots, or the Southern Hemisphere, the ones that appeal to us down here at least. But yeah, there's some quick times out there already, Bernie. Just the 2 laps to qualify with. A couple of Australian-New Zealand club members out there. I noticed Alex Johns just finished his second qualification lap, currently sitting down in P13, flying the flag for Team Milo once again, Bertie.
Fantastic. It's great to see Team Milo has made it all the way to Formula 1. But yeah, it's going to be exciting to see if an iRacer actually gets that dream drive, and it's I'm very excited to be calling this. Let's have a look at the weather, and we'll see exactly what's going on out there on track. So basically it is partly cloudy, 40 degrees Celsius or thereabouts. My telemetry often plays up, and the wind speed, it doesn't tell me, but yeah, reasonably hot out there, but I don't think it's going to affect them. Well, it will, but it's a short sprint race really, isn't it, Alex?
Yeah, 20 laps. I don't think there's a pit stop or anything involved, Bernie, but 20 laps around here will fly by. I'd expect to see, the time tick by very, very quickly. These cars, I don't expect to see much side by side. I expect to see a lot of technical driving. Of course, these things are not for your average Thunderfoot. There's a very technical cars to drive, a lot of things to keep you busy while you're in the cockpit, Bernie, between DRS and push to pass and all sorts of managing your battery levels. So very complex selection process, just driving the car in of itself, Bernie.
Certainly is, and let's have a look at the grid. We've got Massimiliano from Italy. He's starting from pole position. Matteo Calistani sitting in second on the first grid of the row. Tengay Pedrozzoli, he'll start out of third with Alexandre Villette next to him. Stefan Schmidt will start out of fifth tonight with Neil Andrews in sixth. Out of seventh, Cesar Manzato, followed by Robert Tarleton in eighth. Starting out of ninth tonight is Johan Taverlin and then Donald Sabinal. Amir will start out of 11th with Gonzonzo in 12th. 13th, James McKee, followed by Alex John in 14th. 15th is Sayafall, and then Aaron Tan. He rounds out the field of 16 tonight.
Yeah, so plenty to play for here as we're just waiting for a few stragglers to show up on the grid, Bernie. Of course, this is run like a mini official season with the winner getting their shot to represent the iRacing community along with Gregor Hutu, who we all know is an outstanding sim driver and also known as the world's fastest alien, Bernie. They look like they're almost all on the grid and getting ready to go now.
Yeah, now under starters' orders. We'll wait for the revs to rise here, folks, and then we'll be underway for round one of the world's fastest gamer here at Suzuka. We are away now, and we'll see how they go. It's quite a mix of driver talent out there, but at the moment, Massimalo is leading Matteo. He got a great start there. Further back in the field, it's a nice clean run, and it's looking good, but Massimalo... Massey, we'll call him, is taking the lead here.
Yeah, he's out to a clean run. They've all managed to get themselves line astern, Bernie. I don't see any carnage throughout the tail end of the field. A couple of them heading through the S's now, side by side, but they've managed to get straight. So it's interesting to see. I don't know how many of these drivers are familiar with these cars, or they're just dipping their toe in the water to have a crack and see if they can't progress through this magnificent competition, Bernie.
Yeah, we can see Alex John there at the moment sitting in 12th position, and he's got James McKee behind him. But let's get up to the front where the action is. So at the moment, Massey, as I'm going to call him, has taken the lead. He's got quite a bit of a gap here, and Calistani is trying to reel him back in, but he's got Tengai right on his tail.
Yeah, well, Massimo Ficara up the front, apologies for butchering his name. He's got a 1 second gap at this stage, opening out even further, showing his professional world championship licence credentials, Bernie, leading from the front. And it's amazing just to see in these cars. I love my open wheelers. I've had a bit of a dabble in these cars in private leagues, never done an official race, but it's amazing to see what a 1.3 second gap looks like. I know a 1.3 second gap in a Skippy or a Pro Mazda, which are the feeder categories for these cars, of course, looks about a tenth of that gap. So it's just amazing to see the performance of these cars, Bernie.
Yeah, well, if you have a look at the screen now, folks, that is what a 1.3 second gap looks like. And Massey is pulling away at the moment. His last lap time, a 1:35.274, so nowhere near qualifying. But he's the only one in the 1:35s. Then they go from the 1:36s down into the early 1:37s, and some of the drivers are in the 1:56, and they're up the back.
Yeah, well, that's right. Ficara out in front. He's already sitting P5 in this mini championship overall, having done a few races already. Really showing his class at this stage, as we said, out to a 1.5 second gap, only guy in the 1:35. So looks like it's his race to lose at this stage. I mean, we don't know though how he's going to manage his tyres or whether he's draining the battery to see if he can't get a lead and put pressure on from the front, Bernie. But interesting to see how it plays out over time.
Yeah, it certainly will be as we come onto the back straight here with Tanguy. He's from France, and we've got drivers from all over the world competing tonight. I was looking at practice here. They were hitting around about 320, but tonight he's hitting 315 kilometres an hour, and that's a bit faster than a Skippy.
Only about 3 times faster than a Skippy, Bernie, so and a bit quicker than the Mazdas as well. There's a good battle here, 5th through 7th, Bernie. Cesar Monzado on the back of that group there, but Neil Andrew and Stefan Schmidt putting on a great show. Just less than half a second, about 3/10 separating them as they cross the line at the end of lap 3, heading down into the first couple of corners here. Very technical section through here, very deceptive as they head up through the corners 3 through 7, these S-like curves as they're known. The left-right combinations, they're like long sweeping chicanes almost. They're deceptively challenging to get a good run out of, Bernie, but a good run you do need because there's a nice long sweeping bend at the end of them into a long straight, and it's a very challenging section to get right, but very important, Bernie.
Yeah, it certainly is, and it'd be extremely important in the Formula 1, that's for sure. And you're wondering why my voice went up an octave. That's because we're driving with Neil Andrews here, and I'm amazed how much you've got to be on top of it as far as braking goes, and how much things change so quickly. But I guess we are talking about Formula 1 here.
Yeah, absolutely, Bernie. He's harvesting a bit of energy. Great to see that sort of addition to the game. You can see the little light on the back of his car flash as the battery grabs some vital energy for him to expend on the straights now as they head down to 130R on the end of on the tail end of lap 3, Bernie. He's now about 8/10 behind, not being able to stick with Stefan Schmidt in front of him, Bernie, that little gap breaking up, but behind him, Caesar in P7's looking to take advantage to head through the final chicane now.
Yeah, they'll come back onto the start-finish line. 17 laps remaining of this race, folks, and we'll jump up front and give you a look. As you can see now, the DRS of Cesar is opening, but he'll get no advantage because Neil's also got DRS.
Yeah, well, that sort of cancels things out. Of course, aero all important here. Just a small flap on the back of the car opening up can add so much speed, Bernie. Throw in a bit of battery boost as well, and you've got something to work with. Absolutely, designed, of course, in the real cars to add a bit of overtaking action for the world's best drivers, and the same thing here tonight as I jump back up the front with Ficarra leading out. It just goes to show again that this guy's got a World Championship professional licence in iRacing. Of course, he'd be very familiar with these cars, having to qualify in these most likely. There are 2 categories of professional cars, these and the GT3s. Every chance that he's done it in this car already, and it's really obviously paying dividends here from out to a 5.2 second lead and onto a hatful of championship points if he stays this way, Bernie.
Yeah, well, the name of the game is for these serious guys is they're going to most likely race in every session they possibly can over each weekend to maximise the amount of points they can harvest, because just like any normal season, you're going to get points, I think, based on the I rating of the races, but that's only a guess. I'm assuming that's how they're doing it here on iRacing.
Yeah, absolutely, Bernie. I just noticed Alex Johns withdrawn from the race, Bernie. I'm not sure what sort of a moment he's had, but he's out for tonight, which is a shame for Team Milo. But thinking of the championship overall, the strength of field here tonight, which determines the points that are on offer for this championship, is 2,653. It's the 3rd highest strength of field for the week, which means, generally speaking, Ficarra, if he takes this out, will be potentially improving on his 5th position in the championship already. The higher the quality of the drivers in the field as per their I rating, which is the measure of their skill, the higher the points are on offer. So I had a quick squiz through the results during the week, Bernie, and as I said, this is the 3rd highest split so far this week, and certainly a good one for Ficarra to take out.
Yeah, it certainly will be, and that's exactly what they'll want to do tonight. Looks like, Alex, you've got a fan in our chat box once again tonight. I didn't know you were called the Golden Tonsil, but anyway.
Neither did I, mate, but I'll take it on board and run with it, I think. Still looking at that battle of P5 through 7, Bernie. You've got 3 of these cars tightly bunched there, and Stefan Schmidt, Neil Andrews, and Cesare Manzato. Again, apologies for those names. They head down the back straight into 130R on the tail end of lap 5, Bernie. It's interesting to see where the different drivers have their strengths and weaknesses. It seems like Cesare or Manzato is stronger in the opening sections, but drops off towards the end of each lap, whereas the two in front, they seem to stick together like glue, although previous lap Neil Andrews dropped back a little bit, but he seems to have caught back up in that race for the top 5, Bernie.
Yeah, well, his DRS is open now. He's starting to catch up as it comes down the end of the straight into turn 1, turn 2. You can just see how effective that was. He pulled in probably 6 car lengths just with the aid of that DRS driving aid. Let's have a look at your top 10 as they stand at the moment, folks. So Massey, we'll call him Massey. He's got a gap of 6.7 seconds over 10 guy. Then we've got Matteo in third at the moment, 0.8 of a second behind. 1.3 seconds down is Alexandre, and then we have Stefan Schmidt in fifth. 6, we're riding with Neil Andrews at the moment. Then we have Cesare Manzato in 7th. Gononzo is in 8th. 9th, Johan Taverlin, and rounding out your top 10, James McKee.
Yeah, still a couple of battles going on there, Bernie. If you look down in P9 and 10, James Mackey and Johan Taverlin having a quite a tight battle. I beg your pardon, it's Johan and that name's going to kill me too, mate. It's Gononzo Tasdelin. They're having a battle for P8 and 9. I was mistaken, I'm sorry. It's amazing to think of a battle at just half a second, and it still looks like they're so far apart. But of course, the influence of the downforce in these cars and the dirty air that trails the car in front makes it hard to follow too closely. And you've got to really use your wits about and the tools at your disposal, and the DRS and the battery push to pass, of course, to most effect as they close up tight now as they head through the final chicane, Bernie, at the end of lap 7. You will see, most likely see Johan open the DRS this lap, Bernie, and see what he can make of it.
We're just having a look at the replay there. James McKee running wide onto the back straight here, and that's cost him a position. But I'd say it's an extremely high learning curve to race these cars competitively. And meanwhile, Neil Andrews, he's starting to work on the back of Stefan here. He's looking like he's hungry for position 5.
Yeah, he's absolutely hungry as they head through turn 8 into turn 9 now, Bernie, chasing lap 7. He's right in the tail here. It'd be interesting to see how the tyre wear's going, and if we've got one off in front, Bernie. Is that Stefan Schmidt? No, it was, who was that? It must have been a lap car, Bernie. I haven't been able to pick it up, but they've managed to navigate that okay, Bernie, and the battle between Neil Andrews and Stefan Schmidt in front continues.
Certainly does, and he'll have a good run if he can close in. He will up the back straight here, and when he gets DRS, if he can hang on to the back here, he should be in a good position to make a move down the front straight. But I think he's going to have to get a bit closer than he is. Then again, if you get too close in these cars, they start washing out, don't they, because it affects all their downforce.
Yeah, absolutely. You'll see him take a nice early entry in there to counter any understeer there with the car. Gets a great run out of that final chicane, but they're all a bit loose actually. Oh, he's opened the DRS now early. Probably hitting a bit of... Oh no, he's harvesting at the moment. I see a little red flashing light come on, so he's not really looking to make a move there, looking to just put pressure without actually making the pass there, looking to force a mistake. Pressure to pass rather than draft to pass at this stage.
Yeah. And we've seen pressure to pass work, of course. I was watching the Sandown, the GT3s, and the guy was actually flashing his headlights at the person in front of him in each braking area to try to catch the other driver's attention. But of course, they can't do this here. I guess they could wave their fist, but... I
haven't got a button down to that yet, Bernie, but I'll have to have a look next time I'm in there. Meanwhile, Ficarra up in the lead, Bernie. He's now 10 seconds out in just 7.5 short laps, Bernie. He's broken away again, showing his pedigree. This guy's a 5,000 iRater and a pro license holder, Bernie. He's dominating, even behind him, Matteo in P2. He's a 4,500 iRater, but it just shows the difference between those who have that great experience in these cars, Bernie, and what they're able to do once they get a handle of it. Two great drivers, just one looking to have the edge at this stage.
Yeah, it also shows for anyone aspiring to be a pro driver, just how good you have to be. And I think Massey, we'll call him, oh my goodness, is demonstrating that tonight as the gap goes out to 10.9 seconds. But let's look back at Neil Andrews. It's on here. Stefan goes on the inside. And now we can see Neil from Australia here having a look too wide into turn 1 to turn 2. He pulls back in.
Yeah, well, he had a really good look there, although I did see the light come back on, Bernie, saying he was harvesting again, so perhaps not using his power so much, but really he's all over the back of it there Bernie. Neil Andrews actually from the UK and Ireland Club chasing a Frenchman and Stefan Schmidt in front of him, all over the back there, quite amazing, Bernie. But then if I look at the battle for the podium positions there, you got Matteo, who's well behind Ficarra in first position. Alexandre Valette, he's just 1.9 seconds behind in P3 with Tanguy Pedrozzoli. He's sitting a further 1.2 seconds behind in P4. So they're not exactly strung out, but they're not exactly battling in the same way as they are. As Pedrozzoli runs wide there as he headed through the spoon there on the way down to 130R now. He's gathered it up. Didn't seem to lose too much time there, but the battle of the race so far, although they seem to have split up a bit, is...
I was waiting...
Sorry, mate, go ahead.
I was waiting for you to be quiet. No, we just saw Neil Andrews there loop it in the... now I've lost my words. Yeah, in the hairpin down there, and he's dropped back a couple of positions, so that's unfortunate, but it did go to show how much on the edge these guys are.
Yeah, he took a narrow line in, Bernie, and just lit it up on the exit and looped it. Got on the gas straight away. Oh, nice bit of circle work for the crowd there, Bernie, that got underway again. But that cost him P6 in a great battle, Bernie. He's now sitting about 5 seconds behind Cesar Monzato in P6.
Yeah, and I was going to say, before he spun, you corrected me there, he's from the UK and Ireland, but in typical Australian fashion, if he's doing well, he's an Australian.
That's right. He could be a Kiwi as well, but he'd still be Australian. That's all right. That leaves probably the closest battle on track for P8 and 9 respectively, and Gononso, Tazdelen and Johan Tavellen, separated by a mere half a second as they head through turn 8 now into turn 9 on lap 10, closing in on half distance. Bernie, the bright red car of John there in P9, putting a lot of pressure on Tazdelen in P8, Bernie. Yeah,
well, we can see if you put pressure on, mistakes can be made very easily in these cars, so it's well worth doing that as we ride now with Johan coming into the final couple of corners onto the back straight here, and now he's onto the gas and off he goes.
Yeah, on the way down to 130R there, Bernie, the leader already having crossed the line is really quite spread out. These guys are, if you can believe it, 35 and 36 seconds behind the leader, with Ficarra well out in front now. He's got 11.5 second gap, not perhaps increasing it as much as early stages of the race, but he might just be worried about finishing more so than how much he wins by, Bernie, because that's the main thing. Is already the track looking to have some really dark patches in there from rubber being laid down, Bernie. A great feature of the game, of course, is the dynamic track and the wear of the rubber here impacting the grip levels and offline becoming more treacherous as the race progresses. Oh, have we lost another one there? I saw Robert. No, it was just a latency issue. There's a bit of that floating around. Like, oh, Robert, he has almost spun through the S's, Bernie, but continues on.
Yeah, and Robert's coming to us from Illinois, so we've definitely got an international field here tonight. Looking at the cars on the lead lap, the top 12 are, but the ones that are not, Sayaful Arifin from Asia, he's down one lap. Aaron Tan from the UK and Ireland is also down a lap. We've lost two drivers, Alex John from Australia and James McKee has also retired from this race.
Yeah, it's a shame for the couple of the local boys there, but quite a good battle still for P7 and 8 with Tazdelen and Tavelin there in 7th and 8th respectively as they head through Spoon now. He's right up on the back now, Johan, sitting in the draft there. Will he make a move on the approach to 30R? The red harvesting light comes on. There's that Tasdelin going a little bit defensive there. Not really an opportunity there. He's a bit far back on the way into the chicane though. Bernie's will follow them through. He's loose in front, but not quite getting the run in. And Tasdelin spun. Bernie spun on exit, got a bit hard on the gas there, and it's cost him a few.
Yeah, well, he was carrying front wing damage on that car, which no doubt was affecting his top end speed anyway. But as we catch the super slow-mo here, it looks like he just broke loose under acceleration. Yeah, it does. Snaps. He had no chance of catching that whatsoever.
Yeah, it's funny. He was online and everything. Maybe a little change in elevation combined with perhaps too low a gear. I don't know, but the back of it just stepped out dramatically, didn't it? And that was all she wrote. But a great opportunity for a couple of drives behind him with an unfortunate incident for Tasdelin at that stage, Bernie.
Yeah, and it was very close for Robert Tarleton as well. He actually clipped the rear wheel of Gononzo as he went around, and if you look on his side pod, he's carrying damage now. I don't think it's going to affect him too much, but these cars are so highly tuned. He's lucky he didn't walk away with suspension damage, and now he's having trouble.
Yeah, that's a real shame, isn't it, Bernie? He does look to be having a bit of problems there. No, it's relatively okay. He doesn't look to be losing too much time there, but perhaps not a straighter car as he started with as he heads out the back straight at the moment. Meanwhile, back up in front, Bernie, we've got Ficarra still extending that lead out to over 13.5 seconds now, Bernie, and the second half of this race continues.
It certainly does, and it feels like we've been calling this for like 30 laps. Looks like now Tanguy Pedrozzoli, he's also retired from this race, folks, so we're down to 13 runners here. I'm going to see if we can find out what happened to him. Looks like they're just they're not crashing out, they're just parking out. So.
Potentially thinking their race is run, he might have picked up some damage, or who knows, might have made a mistake with his fuel. I don't know, but it's a shame for him tonight, but certainly the race continues, and the field now really settling out to a few different gapped pairs, if you like. Looking at Monzato and P5 sitting about 2 seconds behind Stefan Schmidt in P4, Bernie. The rest of the field quite spread out at this stage. Once again, talking to the skill level of the drivers and disparate nature of it, and the small skill gaps can really mean that, Cesaro nearly lost it through Spoon there, Bernie gathered it up and continues. Small skill gaps in these cars can mean big gaps on the track, Bernie.
Oh, they definitely are. It's very fine line, I think, at this level of racing. The other thing that I find very interesting, and I shouldn't be at all surprised by this, the finalists, the 6 that we read out earlier, if we look at where they're from, we have 2 from France, 2 from Netherlands, 1 from Finland, that's Gregor Hutu, and 1 from England, and that's Harry Jack. So all of those finalists are coming from Europe, so it'd be great if we could see some from outside of Europe getting in, maybe Australia, New Zealand, America, Asia. It'd be great to see a driver from Japan get in, for example, but I don't think we've got any of them here tonight.
No, it doesn't look to be... there's one Asia, but no, it doesn't look... A couple are from Asia, but they don't look to be from Japan, Bernie. I just noticed Robert Tarleton's in the pits, Bernie. Preceding lap, he, again, through the hairpin, he lit up the rears and looped it, but he put the front end of the car into the wall, Bernie, and then he just took the quick toe to the pits, Bernie. That's his night done. But the race continues otherwise as we're on lap 14, Bernie, with Ficarra still now 14, nearly 15 seconds out in front.
Yeah, he's making it look easy, isn't he? And we're just having a look at this replay that you said here of Robert coming to grief.
Yeah, he just took a really narrow entrance there, and the trap for that, Bernie, is that when you get on the gas, even in your own your normal way, you haven't got the same angle on exit as you used to, and you can really light up the rears, and the back just goes around. He wasn't able to keep it off the wall, unfortunately, and then had to take the toe.
Yeah, we definitely saw that. It doesn't take much, does it? And at the moment, I'm looking, we've got Alexandre. Let's have a look at our top 10 anyway. So Massey is leading. That's his new name. Matteo is coming second. Alexandre third. Then we've got Stefan Schmidt fourth. Fifth, Cesar. Then Neil Andrews is sitting in sixth. Johan Tavolin seventh. Amir is eighth. Donald Sabanal ninth. And running out your top 10 is Gononzo Tasdalin.
Yeah, so plenty of the guys still out there on track seeking to gain some points here. I still get amazed when I think about this event. So I know you've sort of talked about what's involved before, Bernie, but to think that you could get a contract with a Formula One team as their simulator driver, and for those who don't know, the F1 teams don't get a lot of track time to do their testing, and they're also not allowed they have a limit of the number of people that they can take to track days and race events, Bernie. So what they'll do is they'll have a whole bunch of people back in the factory, hordes of people back there, if you like, and what they'll actually do is take feedback from the engineers and the drivers on site, take it back to the factory, run potential changes up on the simulator, put it through its paces on the simulator, and then send the feedback back to the track. So this is a genuine opportunity for people to have a real impact in Formula One. So fantastic opportunity afforded to our esport, Bernie, and quite an amazing opportunity that I know many people will be jumping at the chance to get.
Oh, definitely, and a very important job as well, as you've said, sending that data back out. And so they're not going to take anyone, they're going to take the best. They've selected 6, they're going to select 1 from iRacing in the next 4 weeks, and it's going to be very exciting for that person to get an invitation to the finals. But once they get to the finals, that's when the journey really begins, and they're really put through their paces. As we said before, they have to have media skills, so they're going to be tested on that. Their reflexes they'll be tested on. They'll also do driving challenges. They'll also have to be interviewed by the panel, and the panel's made up of some of them a lot from Logitech, Sparco, one of the sponsors, is in there as well, and of course McLaren will have quite a big say on who they employ at the end of this great competition.
Yeah, absolutely, Bernie. You've got to be the whole package here. People aren't just looking for someone who's necessarily the quickest guy on track, although that certainly helps. They need a team player. They need someone who's good with the media. It's the whole box and dice. And I spoke with Johnny Gindy on my podcast a couple of episodes ago, Bernie, and he ran in a similar competition called the GT Academy, and he was talking about how, and like here, it won't necessarily be the fastest guy on track. It'll be the guy that does work with the media, that does have the smarts and the savvy off the track to work well with the team, communicate about engineering details and things like that, Bernie. And so it really is an industry. It's a career path almost for someone these days, and it's amazing to think that our esport can offer that sort of career path, Bernie.
Oh, exactly right, and it'll be very exciting. A lot of those guys pre-selected, as I said, have a look at their videos and look at their resume on those videos. It's very, very impressive, and quite a few of them have been running simulation racing for up to 20 years now. I know Gregor Hutu was one of those, and as we said, he's like an alien. But speaking of aliens, he's Ficarra at the moment doing a great job out here, 15.6 seconds. When he comes to the start-finish line, we're going to jump in the cockpit with him, folks. Alex and I are going to be quiet, so crank up your sound. We'll put the telemetry up and you can enjoy a lap around Suzuka with Massimiliano. So folks, that was a lap around Suzuka with our leader Massimiliano, I'm never going to get that right, from Italy. And I tell you what, you forget these guys are virtually laying down in these cars.
Yeah, look, it's an interesting perspective on the world, isn't it? I was interested to see also the rubber being kicked up, the marbles being kicked up as they head around here. So it's only a 20-lap sprint race. They've only got the 1.5 laps to go now as Ficarra out in front now by 18 seconds. But it's interesting to see how, as we were saying before, as he's approaching a lap car now, Bernie. There's plenty of rubber laid out there already. It was interesting to see it all kicked up as he went through it, particularly around this corner he's approaching now in the hairpin, Bernie.
Yeah, it's definitely got a lot of build-up, hasn't it? And I guess putting it in perspective, 23 laps around here in a Formula One, that's probably, around about half race distance of a full Grand Prix, maybe just under.
Yeah, probably just under. I think they did around. I can't remember. I have it in my head that it was 53 laps or something, but I could be wrong, Bernie. But yeah, look, it's certainly a bit of a challenge here. But as he's driving the cars more generally, we've seen a few guys have moments here tonight. But I think the biggest statement about the challenging nature of these cars is how spread out the field is, Bernie. There's not many that are willing to take on the challenge of these cars. As Ficarra now coming up on the back of who's that Tasdelin, who's now back out on track. I know he didn't go on the pits. He just had his moments or two, and he's back out on track now as he's probably chasing, or the leader now chasing him down around for his final lap, Bernie.
Yeah, he's on the last lap now. He's coming up to a lapped car. He's going to want to tread lightly around here. He doesn't want all his hard work coming undone. And one thing we've got to remember, folks, is these guys wear, the second time, maybe the third time slot. Tomorrow morning, 5 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. Check your iRacing local guides. RaceSpot TV will be telecasting the official broadcast. Well, they'll be doing the world broadcast. We're doing the Australian one, but I reckon that's going to be a very interesting telecast to watch.
Yeah, it will be, Bernie, I'm sure, because this, for those who don't know, this category or this event is not licence restricted. You don't need an A-class licence to race these, which is what you normally do in an official race with the F1 cars, Bernie. So there's drivers out there as low as D-class that I can see. In fact, Neil Andrews is sitting in P6 as a D-class licence holder for the road, Bernie. That's a fantastic statement. He's actually just moved up to P5 by the looks. Valette looking to drop down the field, Bernie.
And here comes Ficarra now into the chicane for the final time to take round one here at Suzuka tonight. And fantastic drive, absolutely dominated the race tonight. That gap, 19.4 seconds. We'll wait for Matteo now to come through. He will be classified in second tonight, and then Stefan Schmidt, if all goes well, should hang on for third.
Yeah, congratulations to Ficarra there. Celestini just coming across the line now. Matteo, another Italian there, Bernie. Stefan Schmidt now in a beautifully decked out McLaren there. Bertie just going through the final chicane now to take out P3. He's bumped up a couple of spots by the looks. Then following him is Manzato. He's coming across for it was Andrews, I beg your pardon. They're a bit out of order on my sheet, Bernie, but certainly he's just pipped him on the line, I think, there, Bernie. What did you make of that?
Yeah, that wasn't for position.
I beg your pardon. Jeepers, they got me all fired up for nothing.
He was lapping a guy. That's why when you were going Jeepers, I was thinking, what's there? But if you're wondering, folks, why the paint schemes haven't updated on our broadcast, well, I've got Trading Paints, the latest version running, and it did an update, but for whatever reason, it's up to its old tricks and not updating all the cars. I think it only updated possibly 2 of them. But we see now Johan Tavlin coming across for 5th, 6th, Amir, and then Donald will come across in a very beat-up McLaren as he crosses the line from Australia, but he gained 2 positions. Sayaful, also with a very interesting front wing on that car, will be classified in 8th position.
Yeah, well done to everyone that got out and had a crack tonight. I was really impressed to see that they just opened up the doors for everyone to come in, and there was not a lot of when you consider the broad range of skills and licenses and all the rest of it, and iRating, that there wasn't a lot of carnage or anything like that, despite the technical and difficult nature of driving these cars. And the guys put on a really good race, and it was great to see.
Yeah, it certainly was great to see, and it was a very high standard of driving, that's for sure. But let's have a look at the final race results, folks. Massimiliano Ficara from Italy takes the win, led every single race of lap of this race. Matteo Calistani comes home in second. Stefan Schmidt from France, up 2 positions from where he started, to finish in third. Fourth was Cesare Manzato. Fifth, Neil Andrews. Sixth, John Taverlin from Scandinavia, up 3 positions from where he started. Seventh tonight was Amir from Asia, up 4 positions. And we had Donald Sebenol from Australia, the first of the Aussies, home in 8th. Alexandre Valette in 9th from France. Then we had Gununzo Tazdal, 10th. Sayaful home in 11th. 12th, Aaron Tan. And then we had Robert Tarleton from Illinois. Tengai was a retirement from France. So was James McKee and Alex John for Team Milo.
Yeah, shame for Alex. I know he was looking to have a bit of fun here tonight, but wasn't to be. Short-lived run around the track. Look, the pro driver showed his class and his experience there tonight, winning by about 20 seconds nearly, Bernie. And that'll help his contention or his series standings a lot. It'll be interesting to see what the strength of field and the points are on offer for that world race tomorrow, Bernie. That might bring out some more of the big guns with the black pro licenses. So be interesting to see what sort of results will happen there, the points that'll be on offer, and who'll be out. Will the big names of the pro series come out, the likes of Kroenke? I mean, Gregor Hutu's already got the guaranteed spot in the finals, Bernie. The world's fastest alien was the name of the mini documentary done on him already. Be interested to see if the likes of Kroenke come out to compete. He's, of course, number 1 played at the moment in the World Championship, returning series champion after Hutu having won the previous 5, if you can believe it, Bernie. So be interested to see if those two can go head-to-head on another stage and really show what the iRacing community has to offer.
Yeah, well, tomorrow morning, that's their last time. We are covering the second last split. Now, this has been pretty much running all week. They started last Monday, and the next round starts this Monday. So a lot of the big guns may have come out earlier in the week, who knows? But you'd expect anyone looking for those points, they'd be either here tonight or they'd be in tomorrow to shore up any position if they're feeling a little bit vulnerable.
Yeah, absolutely, Ben. I just had a look at the results of the highest split so far. 3 pro drivers in there. One of them bombed out, and a couple of them, including a Japanese guy, Kazuki Oshima, finished 1 and 2 with great points. So, I'd suggest, being the weekend now, that some of the bigger names might come out to play for that final race in their time zone tomorrow, Bernie, and great to see how the series unfolds over the next month.
Oh, it certainly will be. I'm very excited about it. And of course, folks, we're going to be back here. Well, I'm going to be back here in about an hour and 10 minutes time, folks, to televise the final round of the Asia Pacific GTE series. And it's an enduro tonight, 90 minutes, and the only enduro in the season. But at the end of the night, we find out who's going to win that fantastic Caterham drive that was put up from Caterham Motorsports. So I'm very excited to be getting to that very shortly, Alex.
Yeah, fantastic. Another great prize on offer for an e-racer, Bernie. So translating those skills into the real world, which, as per that documentary that I mentioned, The World's Fastest Alien, that was about Gregor Hutu, seeing if those skills would transfer on a real track. Well worth your time looking that up on YouTube, Bernie. But, of course, you'll also be back, if I'm not mistaken, on Monday night for the Series 10 of Monday Night Lights. Looking forward to that.
Yeah, definitely the Monday night lights will be back, and for anyone watching tonight that's not familiar with that's Skip Barber racing. Basically, it's the Australian Strength of Field race, and we generally are in the top 2 of the world highest splits. So the internationals come down under, and the local club does their best to try to beat them.
Absolutely, Bernie. It's a great platform for the local drivers in what is a junior or feeder category to the big stuff like this, Bernie. Very popular race. It's a fantastic draw and exciting racing each week. So looking forward to season 10 already.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. But anyway, folks, that's the end of our telecast of round 1 of the World's Fastest Gamer. We definitely hope you've enjoyed it, and if you can't come back this evening or on Monday night, I hope you'll join us again next Saturday night for round 2 of the World's Fastest Gamer, and hopefully we'll get some of the big guns out. That would be fantastic. But until then, folks, on behalf of Alex McCullough, I'm Bernie Weemers. Thanks for tuning in to RRTV. Hope you've enjoyed yourselves and have a fantastic weekend. Good night.